Hey everybody, this is Sheets, and I don't know whether this is going to be a premium only video or I'll do it for free. I'll kind of decide at the end whether I thought it was any good. If it was really, really good, it'll be premium only. If I think it was just okay, then it'll be free. Anyway, we'll see. What I'm going to do today is something a little bit different with the golf. I'm going to test out a couple of different uh, simulation products and tools that I use, and just I want to see what the differences are between the outputs when I keep the inputs the same. Um, I'm going to be using the my own projections for and ownership projections for the inputs, and I'm going to mess around with the various settings on different sims and different sim products and different settings within the sim products to see what kind of discrepancy I get depending on where I go and what the settings look like. Just to kind of, get a sense of the technology out there. And the thesis or the theory, I guess, that I want to test is what's it, negative hypothesis or whatever it is, hypothesis testing, whatever. The negative hypothesis is that golf, well, the hypothesis that golf is going to be very standard. In other words, I don't think we're going to see that much difference in exposures between whether we just use optimals, whether we use like Sabre Score, whether we use Sabre Sims, whether we used Ace Mine Sims, whether we use DFS Hero Sims, for example. I don't know exactly how we plan to measure that. It's going to be more by feel and when we look at it. And so this is going to double as number one, just kind of a lineup build episode, and also kind of a product testing episode as well. So this is what the projections will look like. This is when you rate all these guys by Sabres by excuse me by value score. These look like the top plays, so I expect to get a bunch of this. Um, Rico Hui in the mid range, well cheap actually. Then there's Griffin, McNeely, Bridgman, Sam Stevens, Carson Young. You see who we're getting here. This is actually a pretty damn good value score, 7,900 relative to the rest of the field. So that's something to really keep in mind. Now, from a course fit perspective, it's not the greatest play in the world. So I'm a little bit nervous to get too much exposure there. But when it shows up as this great of a play based on my numbers, it's kind of hard for me to ignore. So that's what we're expecting to see. We're expecting to see a whole bunch of these dudes. Hoey, Griffin, McNeely, Bridgman, Sam Stevens, whatever. And we're going to build 100, we're going to build for a 150 lineup tournament. Okay. Okay. Let's pull up Saber Sim and we'll do that one first. Let's so we're going to upload our projections, exclude unlisted players, and build 5,000 lineups with those. Maybe at the same time while this is going. Ooh, you know what? There's one thing I forgot to do. I forgot to upload my dummy lineups because that auto fills in the contest sims. Why do I keep forgetting to do that? We can do it now. All right, so as this is building, we'll build for 150. Just make sure this from today is 220. Let's get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. Okay. So we build it just using the golf main, which is the default Sabre score metric. What we're going to be getting is, as I mentioned, 70% Hoey, and then look at this, 42% Michael Kim. So that's an interesting thing to note. McNeely, Bridgman, Young, Griffin. But the outlier here is the 70% Hoey. And then this Michael Kim, who I didn't really have in my top list. Is he really cheap? Maybe. Now he's only 7,700. So that's sort of interesting. Next thing I want to do is I want to run this according to the sims. And as you'll see, within the contest sims, we have the stock sand trap flagship MME field. And again, for now, we'll use that one. Now, why is it? Okay. So we'll run the sims here. And let's see what deviltry we could do here. Okay, so you see that it's done. And we won't do autofill right now. Let's just use the sand trap as the example here. And when we apply the sims, we'd be getting, all right, so we're still getting Hoey as the top projected guy, but top owned, but only 44 and not 70, which makes sense. Still Ben Griffin, still these usual guys, but now we're getting Sun You'll Know 24% of the 150 when we apply the sims. When we apply the okay, so when we apply the Saber sims, using their stock settings. Now, what we could do is test this to see what happens when we go min uniques 2, min uniques 3, but that doesn't really change this concept. We're still getting these same top guys here. Okay, Vince Whaley comes on up a little bit more or whatever. Okay. Now we could do this all day long with SaberSim. We could test this against different types of contest fields as well. We could compare it to to our own 5,000 lineups or whatever it is. But essentially, what we're getting when we, put our ownerships in, and then use the contest sim data that SaberSim stores. This is what we're getting using this process. Hoey 43, then Griffin, Sun You'll Know, Gim, Novak, Stevens, Whaley. Okay. Let's now use just for fun. What if we just went into Roto Grinders and just had them build a just optimal lineups? Now again, we have to use the same input. So we're going to upload the file to Roto Grinders. And we're going to call this Roto Test. Okay. And then, oh, wait. I thought I put it there. Oh, choose the file. Sorry. Here we go. And then upload. There were 3 issues. All right. This is all fine. And we'll just submit this. And we're going to use for fantasy points 2. Let me just see. I think that we did that, right? Let me just make sure. So Seamus Power 86.47. Now, the good thing about this is that, hold on, Seamus Power. No, we have 83.25, so we're not using the right one. So we have to change this. Let's figure out how to do this. Again, I'm not as adept with this anymore. Let's put this in. Let's upload. It says paste them here. Upload a file. So let's put them here. That's fine. Submit. And I don't want this. I want, oh, my projections used for fantasy points. Okay, good. Okay. Ah, okay, there you go. And we don't really care too much with the ownership here because we're not doing anything with the ownership. We're just building optimal lineups here. So if we were going to build, let's say, 150 lineups with nothing else, okay, no other, just running the optimals. Let's see what we get. And we're also doing min uniques one. So this is like literally the top 150 optimals given the same projections. And I'm predicting that there's not going to be as big of a difference. I mean, there's not going to be that big of a difference. And here, to this point, you're actually getting 100% Rico Hoey using this general optimal strategy. And then Bridgman, Griffin, Young, Kim, Stevens, same guys, but it's not as, as spread out if you just use a traditional optimizer. And it's also not accounting for ownership or anything like that. Now you could make rules in here as well. Like within builds, you could do what's true range. 100% randomness. What's true range random? True range random limits the possible fantasy points selected by the builder at random to the true projected range of outcome. I like that. So let's do that instead. True range randomness. Let's test it. Let's see what the difference is. So we're going to do true range randomness and keep everything else the same. And still getting 100% Hoey, but it's a little bit more spread out under him. So we probably do have to re-examine the Hoey projection to make sure it's not completely off the wall. As a matter of fact, just 1 second. No, I just double checked and it seems like a pure projection. So it looks like this is what we're going to end up having to do. Okay, so now let's do the same thing, but we'll use Ace Mind. So we'll go into Ace Mind and we'll come here. There's a sand trap. We will upload our projections. It's a little bit different here. It's the same file, but I had to reformat it. We have to click on use field points as projection value. And let's keep everything the same. Default options, 50,000, keep user line. Okay. ROI. We're not going to make any changes. We're going to go default and we're going to hit run. And then we're going to see what we get. And again, the hypothesis is it's not much different. But it's funny, I have used the Ace Mind stuff before, and not to say that computers to get into moods, but every once in a while, Ace Mind and SaberSim can get into moods where you just throw out lineups that you wouldn't even imagine. So as this runs 50,000 simulations, I think we should probably start at least getting the DFS hero stuff set up and see what Ace Mind can take a little while. So let's do DFS hero and we'll just test it and see what difference there is there. I do think that there's going to be there's definitely going to be much bigger difference between sims when you deal with sports like baseball and hockey. But when you have these like projection-based sports with kind of minimal correlations like golf, I don't think you're going to see too much of a difference when you apply the sims. Let's see how Ace Mind's doing. It's still thinking. So first we're going to do is we're going to go into, I guess, lineup optimizer first. Right. And then what we'll do is we'll import the data somehow, right? So let's no, we go to projection hub, upload. We'll use that same file. We're comparing apples to apples. DFS ID. Don't care about that. Fantasy points. We're gonna make that user projection. Ownership, user ownership. Uh, Nothing else matters to me. Win percentage we could put in. No, let's just leave that. DFS ID, we don't care about that. Import all this, and we'll hit next. We'll keep these guys in. Definitely don't want to knock Signal No out, just in case. Done. And then we will go into, we'll make 100% of this aggregate be user percentage. That looks good. And then we're going to use the projection, the ownership, and all of it. Okay. And we should be good. Let's go check on Ace Mind. It's getting there. It completed the simulations. It's now, the player simulations were complete. Now it's starting the contest simulations. So now what we're going to do is we're going to build 150 with user projections, right? Makes sense. Something went wrong. Build 150 with user projections. No good? What went wrong? I don't know. Well, you can go back to contest simulator, see if that works. No. You got to get some lineups in here, huh? We have the user projection. We have the user ownership. We have a pool. Well, can we build it with hero projections? Let's go back to user projections. Build. And then build. Okay. I don't know what the issue was before, but okay. So it built, it's building right now. Let's go check on Ace Mind. So Ace Mind is done. So as DFS Hero is working, um, it built 20 lineups, but I don't want 20. I want 150 lineups. So build 150. So now what we could do is we can look at player exposures, I guess. Actually, where are the player exposures? What is this? If you do this, let me just see for a second. Apply exposure filter. Is that what I want to do? No. Well, so it doesn't really say. I know I'm probably doing something wrong. It's just not really showing. It does look a lot like, well, this actually looks like a lot more Seamus Power, but where is the Hoey? What you could do is we could download all these lineups, right? Or we could export them. So let's export these. Is it going to give me a, so can we check out at least relative ownership based on this? Probably not. I'd have to actually put it up into the, so that's kind of definitely an issue. But where's all the Hoey? Where is all the Hoey? Let's see where'd all the Hoey go in Ace Mind. First of all, let's just see. Yeah, there's very interesting. I can't find any, not any, but where is he being golfer 3 maybe? Let's see. Yeah, there you go. So it looks like 25 in this lineup, 25 here. And again, I know I can do better as far as my sorting goes. Okay, so there's plenty. Okay. 50. Yeah, so it's very similar. I know that within Ace Mind. Ooh, not as much though. I know that that within Ace Mind, I can search better. Just don't know how to do it. So this is a big difference actually so far, is that Ace Mind is coming up with much less of the hooey. And it's also not letting me do this. Now, what if I did downloading all lineups? What does that do? Let me see if that can. One other thing we could do with this is we could screw around with the settings here and see how we're going to rank these. So like what you could do with with Ace Mind, you could filter this by sim ROI and you put all these in. So it definitely seems as though so far Ace Mind is doing at least a little bit different. Uh, well, so the question is why is it showing up that much more different than SaberSim? Well, it's something to do with the way they're doing their sims, right? I put the same data into both algorithms. So why am I getting just significantly less what's his name? Rico Hoey over here? It's a good question. Let's go back to DFS Hero. And after we've made all these, we want to go into the simulator. So go contest sims. Actually, we got to go back to lineup optimizer. Where are my lineups? Ah, they were somewhere. My entries? Oh, come on, I had it. Past builds. Okay, here we go. Where are they though? Okay, here they are. Oh, so we can simulate them here. We're going to go into custom settings. We'll keep everything the same. 150 entries, 10,000 people in it or so. The rest will do the same, and then we'll put in simulator, simulate the lineups. And I'll show you, by the way, a good way to cheat as far as knowing what kind of exposure we're going to get from Ace Mind. I could just upload them into DraftKings, and then DraftKings will tell me what my ownership percentages is. And what do you do with all this? I mean, like, so first of all, even here, how can you look at exposures? I don't know. I mean, you should be able to tell from here, right? These are only 25. We can download them all again. So let's try it. Okay, so let's export these. What about export values? What's the difference? Let's see. What's export mean? Export is just these actual lineups. So let's save these. For example, watch this. So save as recent PGA. We'll call this DFS Hero. And we're again, this is this is a shortcut. This is a long cut because I'm an idiot and don't know how to figure out how to look at these exposures. But where were we with the Ace Minds again? Simulation results, right? I was sorting by sim ROI over here. So what we'll do here is we'll just take the top 150 from here. We'll save this, by the way, as just so we have it. PGA, we'll call this Ace Mind. I'm going to do this for a couple of reasons. Actually, first, let's only take this top 150. We only have 150? No, because it did the whole bunch. So let's take just the top 150 out of these 5,000 or whatever. 7,000. Oh yeah, because it simmed the whole contest, right? And we're gonna save these for a reason. But first, let's test to see what the ownerships are, what the exposures are, with the various sims. So let's what we're gonna do is we're gonna download our entry file, and SaberSim you can do it right there, and I'm sure you can with the others too. I'm just not as familiar with them. So let's first do the ace mines. So to remind us of what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the ace mines. We're gonna copy these, and then we're gonna paste these bad boys right into here. Now again, they have two different contests with 150 in it. So we'll have dupes, but that's totally fine. We'll keep those big buy-ins the same. We'll save this. Then we will upload this. And then we'll see what we have. So in Ace Mind, you can go into here and a few view exposures. And you're getting 42% Griffin, 38% Gim, and 35% Hoey. So again, the observation was accurate in that Ace Mind did not get us as much Hoey. And I think I have the reason for that. We're going to get back to that in a minute. Okay. I got to remind myself. Now I'll remember, because there are two things you put into Ace Mind that you don't put into SaberSim. SaberSim might already have it in its algorithm, but um, we'll see. Next thing we're going to do, we'll go back, and then we'll download these again. And now we're going to get the DFS Hero ones, which we saved over here. And this is looking like a lot of Rico Hoey, but we're going to see for sure. Okay. Then after I show you why I think that Ace Mine got us those, I'll show you another trick I like to do. All right. So these are what the DFS Hero ones would look like. And that's 100% Hoey. Is that right? You tell me the DFS Hero lineups were 100% Hoey? Yeah, it looks that way. And just to confirm, that was based on the Sims. Well, it was 150. And we did sim these, right? Let's do this. Let's export these, and let's make sure we're sorting them the right way. So let's export values, and we'll rank them by risk adjusted by GPP ROI. Okay, so let's make sure that we're doing it the right way at least. Maybe that would account for why like 100%. That doesn't seem to make sense. So let's sort these by here. This is risk WGP ROI. This is the ranking. This is the value. Okay. But even still, look at these, like all the Rico Hoey. So yeah, so it looks as though um in order, DFS Hero would have us playing 100% Hoey. You'll have Saber Sim, and that we can go back and check. More like 43%. And then, as I mentioned, the 35% from Ace Mind. So what I would like to probably do in a situation like this is I'm going to presume there's something I'm either doing wrong with the DFS Hero, or just that the algorithm is just wrong, because I just don't think there's any world where we would get 100% of him in the golf. So um uh there's nothing else I did differently, right? I put the same stuff in, I guess. So here's the next thing I want to do. I want to do like a blend of the Ace Mine then with the SaberSim ones. And this is what I like to do. First thing I want to do is see which of those lineups are duped. In other words, which of those lineups show up in both the Ace Mine build and the SaberSim build. So this is what we're going to do. We have our dupe calculator, which I've displayed in other sports, which we're going to trot out here. Not dupe calculator in the way you might think. I mean, not what rates to be duped in the contest. I mean, which literal lineups are showing up in multiple screens. So what we could do is post lineups in here and they'll filter that out. So let's find these again. So we're gonna go Ace Mind. We'll get those first. We'll copy those and we'll put those in here. And then we're gonna go into SaberSim. You don't need to go min uniques 1, 2, right? And then we'll just download these, right? Download. Oh, here's a problem. It's showing them in number form. So we can't really do the dupe thing. What I was going to do is just take some is make sure there's not duped. But the way you could do that is just I could play the top 75 from each of these bad boys and then see if they're duped. Or we could play them in, remember, we're playing 300 lineups. We're playing the drive the green and the other one. So we could play all 300. And we could either sample them, like play, for example, only the even numbered lineups from one and the odd from the other, or something like that. Or we could just do random ones. But what we could do, what we'll do is, this is probably not a good idea, but what I'll do is I'll do the top 75 from each in the bigger buy-in of the lotteries and the bottom 75 in the other. It's probably not the greatest idea, but let's do that anyway. So what we're going to do is we will first go, let's go back into DraftKings. We're going to edit all these. Okay, so here's our pool. And now let's go back to what we want to do here. So let's find first oh, we didn't get the SaberSim ones. Let's do the SaberSim ones first. So hold on. SaberSim download. Okay. So here are the SaberSim ones. So the SaberSim ones, again, what we're going to do, this is going to be our pool here. So we're going to do the top 75. So that's 2 through 76. We'll put those in again in the bigger buy-ins. That would be here, right? Boom. And we'll take the second 150 and we'll put them here in the $5. And then we'll go back to the Ace Mind, which again, we saved that as a file. This is the entry one we're working on. Let's go back into Ace Mind. I think you can mix formats here when you do it this way. We're not using the dupe calculator. We're just entering acceptable formats. So the Ace Mind ones will put so the Ace Mind ones, okay, we'll put over here. No, under these numbers. So it would be here, right? Boom. And then the bottom 75 put up here. And we're in business. All right. So now we've taken a sample of, we've used all 300. And now I want to see a couple of things, what the exposures are. It should have blended them. And I also want to see how many lineups are duped. All right, let's see. So let's look at first exposures. Wow, this is amazing. First of all, before I look at exposures, well, here are exposures. So 40 Hoey, 34 Griffin, et cetera, et cetera. But this is what I find really amazing. Of those 300 lineups, not a single one was in both sets. Which means that the different sims are just operating a little differently, which is good. And I think this is healthy. What I was going to say about the difference in inputs is that one thing that you had to actually input into Ace Mind was your projection of making the cut and win percentage. Now I had my own. You see this here? Well, you would have to go back to inputs, which are somewhere. Hold on, SimOpto. Right. So I actually put in a make the cut probability and a win probability of my own. Whereas in SaberSim, it doesn't give you that option. You have to go with this. It does its sims based on its own win percentages and make cut probabilities, So that would definitely account for a little bit of the difference, or I shouldn't say a little bit, just I don't know how much, for a difference in the two. So that would be, again, the way that I would probably attack the slate. I liked my projections. I did a lot of work on that. And then I tested it through two different sim products. I would love to give DFS Hero another shot at this. Let's try this again. Contest Simulator. Can I re-rank them? It's not a question of re-ranking them. It looked like it only built 150 lineups to choose from. So I'm a little confused what DFS Hero is doing. But so far as the other two, they look pretty solid. I'm going to reach out to Tom over here and see if I can't get a clarification. Okay, that'll do it. Good luck, everybody, tomorrow.